16 million people are descended from Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan died about 750 years ago, so assuming 25 years per generation, you get about 30 men between the present and that period. In more quantitative terms, about 10% of the men who reside within the borders of the Mongol Empire, as it was at the death of Genghis Khan, may carry his Y chromosome. And so about 0.5% of men in the world, about 16 million individuals alive today. Genghis Khan was without a doubt one of the most outstanding people in global history, whether you love him or hate him, and there are many reasons for both. Temüjin, as he was originally known, was born into a tiny nomadic clan close to Lake Baikal. He developed into the man who unified Mongolia and ruled over an empire that stretched from the Adriatic Sea to the eastern limit of China. In this video, we are going to talk about people who descended from Genghis Khan, so make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this in the future. The history of this factoid goes back nearly 20 years to a groundbreaking 2003 historical genetic study when sampling DNA from 16 populations across Asia. Researchers were surprised to find that nearly 1 in 12 men on the continent shared an unusual Y chromosomal lineage, one that they said likely came from Genghis Khan. What made them so sure? After all, it's not like they could go take a cheek swab from the man itself. So instead, they relied on clues from science and history to fill in the gaps. So for example, the idea that the unique Y lineage may just be due to natural population expansion is a no-go. If this spread were due to a general population expansion, we would expect to find multiple lineages with the same characteristics of high frequency and presence in multiple populations, the researchers explained, but we do not. Statistical analysis ruled out the Y chromosome lineage turning up by chance. The probability of that was about 1 in 10 octoseptuagintillion, a number so large that we literally had to build it up from the Latin roots just now due to a lack of existing terminology. If you want to try writing it down, it's 1 followed by 237 zeros, so use a big piece of paper. So if it wasn't chance, what else could it be? Simple biological selection, the result of one impossibly sexy man that roamed the Mongolian steppe all those years ago. Again, it's possible, but highly unlikely. The researchers decided the small number of genes on the Y chromosome and their specialized functions provide few opportunities for selection. They wrote, making it therefore necessary to look for alternative explanations. So they turned to another type of genetic pressure, one that, in humans, is maybe even stronger than biology. This is a clear demonstration that culture plays a very big role in patterns of genetic variation and diversity in human populations. Geneticist Spencer Wells, one of the 23 co-authors of the paper, told National Geographic at the time, "It's the first documented case when human culture has caused a single genetic lineage to increase to such an enormous extent in just a few hundred years." To put it in simple terms, Genghis Khan and his sons and grandsons after him was considered genetically fit, not because he was strong or good at hunting necessarily, but because he was a Khan. The populations his armies conquered were often slaughtered en masse, decimating the potential gene for future generations, and importantly, the family line continued to rule large areas of Asia as late as the mid-19th century by some measures. In other words, the genetic line showed that about 8% of men in the region of the former Mongol Empire, and therefore about 1 in 200 worldwide, share one single male ancestor. And based on a combination of logic, statistics, and common sense, that ancestor was almost certainly Genghis Khan. As prolific as the Khan's legacy is, it is not unmatched. A 2005 study found another Y chromosomal lineage, also in Eastern Asia, which was present in around 1 in 30 men sampled. Not much compared to Genghis's brood, but still a huge number. This lineage, the researchers worked out, started around 500 years ago, right around the time China was undergoing a seismic political change known as a Ming-Qing transition. We reasoned that the events leading to the spread of this lineage might have been recorded in the historical record, as well as the genetic record, the study explained. The Qing dynasty was founded by Nurhaci and was dominated by the Qing imperial nobility, a hereditary class consisting of male line descendants of Nurhaci's paternal grandfather, Jiokanga, with more than 80,000 official members by the end of the dynasty. Once again, the researchers found evidence of this social pressure favoring one genetic lineage over others, the lineage of Jiokanga. The nobility were highly privileged. For example, a 9th rank noble annually received 11 kilograms of silver and 22,000 liters of rice and maintained many concubines, they wrote. A social mechanism was thus established that would have led to the increase of the specific Y lineage carried by Jiokanga and Nurhaci, and to its spread into a limited number of populations. We suggest that this lineage was the Manchu lineage. And later, in 2006, researchers found another noticeably widespread Y chromosome lineage, this time stretching from the Middle East to the western coast of Ireland, where as many as 1 in 5 men were found to share the genetic signature. Which super-fertile ancestor was responsible for this third lineage? The legend that has grown up around the study has him as Nial Noijalash, or Nial of the 9 Hostages, a semi-to-completely mythical 5th century king who supposedly started the Uí Néill dynasty of Ireland. But while it's a pretty tempting origin myth, if you have Irish blood in you, we should point out that the conclusion is not without controversy, and that one of the researchers behind this study told the New York Times that he was as surprised at finding evidence that Nial existed as he would have been to learn that King Arthur had been real. And those are just the lineages that have names attached. In 2015, researchers found 11 particularly strong Y chromosome lineages in populations across Asia: the Khan lineage, the Jiokanga lineage, and 9 others originating from unnamed ancestors who lived between 2100 BC and 700 AD. While world history and ancient politics allowed the team to suggest a few candidates for these fecund founders, ultimately, their identities will likely remain unknown. None of these mega-patriarchs come close to Genghis Khan's output though. At least we don't think so. Because of course, there is one problem with saying that 16 million people are direct descendants of Genghis Khan. We don't actually have any DNA from the Khan himself. The genetic legacy of the Mongols. We have identified a Y chromosomal lineage with several unusual features. It was found in 16 populations throughout a large region of Asia, stretching from the Pacific to the Caspian Sea, and was present at high frequency. About 8% of the men in this region carry it, and it thus makes up about 0.5% of the world today. The pattern of variation within the lineage suggested that it originated in Mongolia about 1,000 years ago. Such a rapid spread cannot have occurred by chance. It must have been a result of selection. The lineage is carried by likely male line descendants of Genghis Khan, and we therefore propose that it has spread by a novel form of social selection resulting from their behavior. If you like this video, Please leave a comment and your thoughts about Genghis Khan.